Hey guys, we're back today to read another chapter in the Wild Robot Escapes. Last time we left Roz and her new friend and Bright Bill on the mountaintop. Remember Thud the ram? And they're just continuing on their adventure home, hopefully getting closer and closer to the island. And Gator is going to read with us today. You want to say hi? Say hi.
Hi.
Chapter 62, The Showdown. Daybreak in the foothills, and thick gray fog was everywhere. With such poor visibility, the travelers relied on their other senses. Their instincts, maybe. They smelled salty air. They felt sandy soil, and they heard seagulls screeching and waves breaking. And then they heard the long, low note of a ship's horn. Somewhere in the distance, hidden by the fog, was the ocean. As if to answer the ship, there came another long, low note. But it wasn't a horn. It was a howl. A wolf was following our friends. Uh-oh. Any guesses on what wolves this is? What wolf this might be? Is it a new one? Is it our old friends Shadow and Barb? I guess maybe they're not friends, huh? Bright Bill beat his wings and squawked, "Ma! Run!" Roz ran downhill deeper into the gloom. Her feet stomped the sandy soil, leaving behind a trail of footprints. There was no time to hide her tracks, so she just kept running. Blurry shapes faded in and out of the fog, and her eyes darted around to see if they were rocks or bushes or wolves. But the robot should have watched where she was going. She slipped and thumped into the sand, and before she could get up, Shadow was on top of her. The wolf was heavy and strong. He pinned Roz to the ground and locked his teeth into her tool belt. At last, he had caught his prey. Violently, wildly, he thrashed the robot from side to side. Roz tried to squirm free, but Shadow's grip was tight. There was only one thing to do. She reached down inside the wolf's snarling jaws. Gator, please stop. Sorry, guys. Snarling jaws and fumbled with the buckle. And suddenly, she was loose. Shadow staggered backward, the belt dangling from his mouth as Roz stomped away. Bright Bill had been circling overhead this whole time, and now he squawked desperate warnings to his mother. "Look out for the rocks! Shadow's gaining on you! There are buildings ahead!" Roz burst through the row of hedges and onto the main street of Seaside Village. It was still early, and it was still foggy, and Roz was halfway through the village before anyone saw her. A man had just left for his morning walk when the robot and the wolf came galloping down the street. The man decided his walk could wait, and he hurried back inside. Shadow swiped at Roz's heels, but the robot leaped away. She soared over a house and landed on the other side. A wolf dashed around the yard, only to see her leaping away once more. This time, Roz landed in shallow water. Waves gently sloshed against her ankles. The robot backed up into the ocean, up to her waist, and then automatically stopped. Her survival instincts wouldn't let her go any farther. Do you guys remember what we talked about last time that Roz had to think about going into the water? Remember when Bright Bill was learning how to swim and Rockmouth? Was it Rockmouth? Charlie, you'd remember the big fish that was threatening to eat little beavers and little goslings. So, and Bright Bill wanted to go in to save, or Roz wanted to go in to save Bright Bill. But she didn't because of her survival instincts. "There's nowhere left to run," Shadow growled as he prowled into the beach. "Either fight or swim." Roz was trapped. Her body lurched forward and backward as her computer brain struggled to find an escape. And then Bright Bill came to her rescue. "This way, Mama!" Roz didn't hesitate. She launched herself up from the shallows toward her son's voice. Salt water steamed off her body as she soared through the air. Then her feet pounded into the sand beside Bright Bill, who was perched atop an old rowboat. By the time Shadow arrived, our friends were rowing away from shore. The wolf's face twisted with rage, and he howled from the water's edge. "You made a fool of me, Roz. My pack and my mate have left me. Now I'm just a worthless lone wolf, all because of you." Roz felt something like sorrow for Shadow. She never meant for any of this to happen, but she had her own troubles. The robot's greatest fear was deep water, and now she was paddling through the waves out to the sea. It's kind of nice that Roz felt a little bit of sympathy for Shadow. Like she said, she didn't mean for anything bad to happen to him, but he was threatening the Shadow was threatening the cows. Remember back on Hilltop Farm. Okay, for this chapter, for chapter 62, I want you guys to do a little bit of a science experiment. It's pretty cool. So we know that Brightbill, the goose, he knows how to swim and fly. So therefore, he probably floats pretty well in water. And we know that they're in a rowboat and they're headed out to the ocean. And we know that the rowboat probably floats in water. But I'm not so sure I've ever seen a robot in water. Now, we know why Roz can't go in the water, right? Because she's electrical. It'd be like throwing your computer or your iPad or something into the water. It would, right, fry up. But I wonder if she still might float. So I want you guys to go gather some materials around your house, some things that you think that Roz might be made out of. So we know we've been given some pretty good clues, and they've talked about it a lot of times in the book. So you guys should have a pretty good idea of what she's made out of. I'm going to grab a bucket of water and put those similar items. So if you think she's made out of rubber and you put a rubber ball into the bowl of water, tell me what happens. Does it sink? Does it float? So I want you guys to make your predictions on what you think is going to happen when you throw those same materials of Roz into the water. And then also, if you can find some similar materials of like a rowboat and or Brightbill, make your predictions. Do you think it's going to sink or swim? And if you think Roz is going to be able to survive this treacherous journey through the ocean, take a picture of your experiment if you want to, or a video, send it over to me, and have fun with it. See if there's different things on your house that can sink or swim. And Gator says, see you later. Say bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.